Let's move a bit closer, please. Mic iko sawa. Ni watu wataki kusonga karibu. Let's move closer still. The closer the better. Sure. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you all for coming, for gracing this event today. My name is Dr. Rajab Saddam. I'm the resident psychiatrist, Chiromo Hospital Group, Nyali, the event at which we are in today. This evening, we are honored to hold our third MINDFEST festival at this venue. And in brief, what is MINDFEST? Well, the easiest bit to explain is the fest, which is festival. Mind is mental illness, is not a disability. And that's why we are here, to celebrate the existence of help to our clients who, at one point or another in life, do have challenges with mental illness, and to speak to the world that there is preventive, there is protective, and there is promotive mental health care, so that we can continue to stabilize their condition so that they can be productive people in society. Our aim through this sensitization is so that we can have people from the society normalize going for checkups for mental health, the same way they have checkups for physical conditions like diabetes, like hypertension. I've been asked to do housekeeping, so I'm a housekeeper. With this short introduction, I humbly welcome you to my house. I'm a proud owner of this one, and I would like to invite my team that we run this show together, Ms. Gadhoni Mbugua, to take us through the next session, and we can continue interacting. Welcome. Sorry, before Gadhoni comes, stand there with our CEO. I would like actually to recognize some of our partners who are already here, and we are sorry we are starting a bit late, and that is why I'm doing this, so that we can recognize each other and we can know that even as a community, who amongst us are already responding to this call. From our insurance partners, we already have APA Insurance here, CIC Insurance, Jubilee Insurance, Old Mutual. Thank you so much for gracing the occasion, and I'm sure many more are coming. The institutions that we are already interacting with, IHRM, long-standing partners, HR managers have understood the need to actually speak mental health at the workplaces. Technical University of Mombasa, KPLC, Kenya Prison Service, Central Bank of Kenya, these ones we should get close, you know. Yeah. The Aga Khan Academy. Most mental illnesses start at a young age. And it is good that actually schools are noticing this, because that is where we can pick it. The earlier we pick, the sooner we can help. We have the National Police Service, our good partners, Kenya Ports Authority, the entrance to this side of the world, the entrance to Kenya. And they have been a very good partner to us. Our neighbors, Premier Hospital, we don't do everything. We are a specialized mental health care and wellness center. And when we need assistance, we look to our neighbors. When we need some consultants or to refer patients for other conditions, and they do come in handy. We have our partners from Portrees Hospital. We have our partners from Shimolatewa prisons. There's actually a methadone clinic there for substance use, especially heroin, and we are walking this journey with them. We have the Coastal Counseling Center, and we are happy that we are joining hands today to actually have to showcase to the world that mental wellness is key. So welcome, Gathoni, as we take over, and we'll continue recognizing our visitors as they come in. Thank you so much, and feel at home.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gathoni Mbogwa. I am a clinical psychologist by profession. I am also the head of digital relations at Chiromo Hospital Group. And for those of you who may not know what that is, digital relations is an arm that specifically focuses on creation of awareness and CSR programs online and offline, with a specific narrowed touch to the youth. We have another arm that focuses on corporate wellness, and I hope you'll be hearing from my other colleague as we continue today. I want to welcome you all, our partners, distinguished guests, the participants who we are going to be hearing from today. I want to recognize the presence of everybody who is joining us online via our social media pages, Facebook and Instagram. Please leave a comment or ask a question. We'll be reading that out as we continue. I would like to recognize the staff members as well here at this Nyali branch, as well as from our other 4 branches across Nairobi. These are the individuals who continue to represent this brand with a promise. It's absolutely an honor to stand here today to witness the 3rd edition of MINDFEST, as Dr. Rajab has said. Let me give you a brief history as we continue waiting for our other guests. This journey began, Chiromo Hospital Group has been in existence for over 26 years. So a lot has been done by the great Paul Bearers, led by our chairman herein. MINDFEST represents mental illness is not disabling. And what we are trying to bring out, a lot of stories have been said out there, and most of all of these stories depict a negative connotation where mental illness is concerned. And what this continues to do is propagate stigma within the community. And today, on this 3rd edition, we continue to do this by showing that there is so much more to an individual than their diagnosis. We continue to support, to create safe spaces, to come up with creative ways to give people space to speak up in line with our global initiative Tufunguke, with the hope that we can normalize this conversation the same way we would go and see a general practitioner from a cold. I hope we can get to a place where it's okay to say that I was in a domestic issue and I need support, or I'm going through grief and I need support, or I have a diagnosis, these are the symptoms, and I need support. And Chiromo Hospital Group has continued to support. We had a book launch with one of us, Danish, Odongo, who launched a book. Our chair was there. Chiromo Hospital Group also did the first family and mental health walk. That was done in Karura, 2019. And this was very, very powerful because it was the first time that we brought together families to start having this conversation. We did the walk. After the walk, we had different tents where we had women together, men together. We had an art corner for children, and we had a youth corner to talk about busting the myths where drugs are concerned. And one of the things that I still remember standing out is how engaged the children were, but most importantly, how long it took the group for the men to actually break. We had to seriously insist that they stop because it was already dark, and Karura Forest has its own policies. But that taught us a lesson. That brought to our attention what we had been knowing, but in a magnified way, that we need to continue having these conversations, creating safe spaces. And that followed a conference, which we call the IMD, International Men's Day, that just created a safe space for men, and what we also call the Man Cave, which is also a safe space for men. And the Man Cave, immediately we had it online because the RSVPs were online. Within a period of less than an hour, all the slots had been taken. Imagine. So we'll continue doing this. And most importantly, we recognize that we cannot do this alone as practitioners. And that's why today we have a multi-sectorial representation. We can only do this together within the family setups, with our partners, with the churches, and all areas. In 2020 is when we started the virtual conference, MINDFEST. So despite the fact we were in a pandemic, we tried to figure out how can we still reach out to people. And we had the first ever Africa virtual mental health festival. Believe it or not, we had so many participants. That festival that we had online had over 2 million views, and we had individuals sending in their work of art, not just from Kenya, East Africa, Africa, and even all the way from Canada. Yeah, we will share that link today. If your phone is online, just go to the YouTube page of Chiromo Hospital Group and type MINDFEST 2020. You will be able to see that for yourself. And we continue to do that even today on the third edition of our MINDFEST. We have our participants here today. We'll hear from them. We have a poet, we have a lived experience, one of our very own clients who's been in this hospital, as well as a musician right over there. And all this is in honor of the upcoming World Mental Health Day, annually held every 10th of October, whose theme this year is making mental health and well-being a global priority for all. So we are particular journey is a long, and by making the first step, we will be making our contribution in the journey to make mental health a welcome conversation in every space of our life. Thank you very much. I welcome you all. I can see our guests are here. The young psychiatrists, as they make their way through, I will be welcoming our team leader, the group CEO, Dr. Vincent Hongo. Let's give him a round of applause.
Good. To our chief guest in absentia, Mr. Daniel Ogutu, the General Manager, Human Resource at KPA, being represented here today by the lead doctor, Dr. Gome, my senior doctor at KPA, and the head of administration, Mr. Bildad, to our chairman, Dr. Frank Jenga, a fellow emeritus of the Royal College of Psychiatrists, the chairman of the task force, the Mental Health Task Force Kenya, the chairman, the founding chairman of Kenya Psychiatric Association. Chair, your members are here. Dr. Rajab, kindly invite the young psychiatrist. I can see Dr. Wamukoma. Dr. Wamukoma, please come. I can see you. Please come, Daktari. Come with your members, please. President is here, Prof is here. Prof, karibu sana. Kuna kiti hapa mbele. Karibuni. Dr. Victoria, please. Presidente, karibu kiti. Prof, karibu sana. Dr. Victoria. Dr. Kuoba, please, there's a seat for you here. Karibu sana daktari. Leo auta toroka. Karibuni sana. To our director, Alice Wahome, who is representing us here, the Coast Region, a board member of CHG. To our invited guests, we are happy to have the Dean of the Aga Khan School of Medicine, Professor Lukoya Atwoli. We have senior psychiatrists from MTRH, Dr. Kuoba. We have a senior psychiatrist from Mathare Teaching and Referral Hospital, Dr. Victoria Wamukoma. We have the president of Kenya Psychiatric Association, my friend and my colleague, Dr. Shitai. To the corporate members who are standing before me today, Dr. Rajab has attempted to mention each of you. Good afternoon. Hamjambo. Hamjambo tena. Dr. Neil Horn, Hamjambo. Thank you. To my colleagues here today, we are proud to host you in this facility. Why are we here? One, in 2019, before the COVID pandemic, 1 in every 8 inhabitants of this earth had a mental illness. We all know what COVID pandemic did. It only served to escalate those numbers. Our teacher, the researcher, is here, and I know the research that is going on will only serve to show that those numbers are going up. Globally, it is estimated that 1 billion people out of the 8 billion people have a mental illness. You drop down, and mental illnesses, just like diseases that we know, hypertension, diabetes, and the likes, are also categorized. There's a mental illness called depression. 300 million people and rising have depression. You come down to what we witnessed even yesterday as we were crossing away from the island. 1 person dies by suicide every 40 seconds. We are here because it is estimated by the World Health Organization that by 2030, the leading cause of disability is not going to be the boda riders having and sustaining fractures. The WHO that works so closely with all the healthcare practitioners globally states that by 2030, the leading cause of disability is going to be depression, which is a mental illness. Come closer home. The task force that was chaired by Dr. Frank Jenga and Prof was also a member, Dr. Koba was a member, conducted a survey, a very detailed walkabout in this country. And they found that mental illness is not just here to be ignored. Our former president, His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, having noted from his space that there's a concern, there were cases that were concerning him, mandated that task force. Having gone throughout this country, they did realize that yes, it is rising to epidemic proportions. That those who go to hospitals, wale ambao wanaenda kutibiwa alafu wanarudi nyumbani, we call them outpatients. 25% of those who go to seek services, na tuko hapa today, 1 of us, 2 of us, we have those close to us who've gone to seek OP, outpatient care, na wamerudi nyumbani. 25%. Push it up, it means 3 out of every 10 people who walk into our outpatient facilities have mental illnesses. When you go now kwa wale ambao wanalazwa kwa hospitali, then 4 out of every 10. A very brief survey revealed that. When you localize it, the researcher is here, then they say even up to 6 out of every 10 of those who are admitted in our facilities have mental illnesses. Just as we were emerging out of the pandemic, DCI posted reports. And they were concerned that the suicide rates were on the climb. That there was a doubling, a disproportionate doubling in the suicide rates that they recorded. How many were not recorded when they posted that study or their findings? Today we stand here, and may her soul rest in peace. There's a young doctor who passed on, and I was told yesterday. I was called by some of my seniors asking, "Doctor, what is going on?" We know today, less than an hour ago, Chair, I've just been called from a corporate in Nairobi, serving under the Treasury. We are called to go there on Monday. a lady, very established, working, left and did not report to work, found that she overdosed. This is why we are here. Mental health is not just about to be ignored. What has been done? A lot has been done. Many actors in this space, from the global all the way to the national, county level, have put in a lot of efforts towards this. What is it showing? That even with these crystallized, still less than 1% of the resources that should be channeled towards mental health is not being done. Who should do this? It is you and me. If we talk about resources, and I'm happy, Chair, Prof, that we have doctors here today. When the chair of Kenya Medical Dentist Council, my teacher, we were with her in that meeting, and I said that we have only about 84 registered practicing psychiatrists. She told me, Doc, that number is going up. Resources, the human resource, is still far below what is expected to meet this rising need. We come close and ask, what have we done at the corporate level? What have we done at the institutions level? Still limited. The stigma, the attendant discrimination, stops so many people from accessing dignified, quality mental health care services. If you look at these numbers, the people who are suffering and indeed suffering in silence, and the high levels of stigma and discrimination, the numbers will only go up. As CHG, we continue to work with many partners, from the global platform, international, national platform, to mainstream matters mental health. And that is why I invite you, please clap for yourself for being here, because you are part of that journey. Our 26 years of existence has taught us that we can only achieve what we should achieve if we work together with you. We are inextricably linked to you in mainstreaming matters mental health. Today, on the 10th, we will be celebrating the Global World Mental Health Day. And the WHO, they've set the agenda, that it is their wish that we have mental health and well-being being prioritized. Who is going to prioritize this? We know that with physical illnesses, diabetes, hypertension, all those, mention them. A lot has been done. What of mental health? We are happy that the key actors are here, be it policy. We have the Mental Health Amendment Act 2022 that was published on the 27th June 2022, mainstreaming matters mental health. We have the Mental Health Action Plan in place. And many policies have been established to try and mainstream matters mental health. This will not happen. We will not make significant progress if we at individual level, at corporate level, we do not embrace these policies. Last year, November 2021, down here at White Sands, we worked together with IHRM. I'm happy Mr. Bildad is here. And we proposed a workplace mental health policy. That it will not be an abominable act for me as an employee in CBK to carry a sick of written bipolar disorder from Dr. Kuoba, but I will be accepted just like my colleague carrying a malaria sick of shit. For us to achieve this, we need you. We know that cancer, diabetes, hypertension, so many screening programs have been put in place. When WHO is telling us that we must channel resources, value towards mental health and well-being, we must do it today. That the protective, promotive, preventive mental health care services must be institutionalized within our normal spaces. We understand that cancer screening, there are tools. Hypertension, BP machine. When you talk about diabetes, fasting blood sugar, random blood sugar, HbA1c, the doctors here understand that. Even my grandmother understands that you can go and check your blood sugar to know whether una ugonjwa wa sukari ama una ugonjwa wa sukari. But what about mental health? Are there preventive, protective, promotive tools that can help us know, palpate, and check our blood sugars in mental health? Yes. There are globally validated tools for screening for different mental illnesses. I invite you as the corporate leaders, as WHO is inviting us in embracing mental health and well-being in our spaces, I invite you to drive a top-down approach in institutionalizing mental wellness assessment tests. Let us start with the HRM. Let us start with the executive directors. Let us start from the top, where we embrace, if it is burnout, because we all know what we go through in our workspaces. There's a globally validated tool for screening the levels of burnout before I jump over the Nyali Bridge. There are globally validated tools for assessing the levels of depression, assessing the levels of anxiety, alcohol use. Alcohol is not harmful. Today I'm not your bishop. Alcohol is healthy. But excess alcohol is harmful. When will I know that I'm taking excess alcohol? How will I know that my colleague at workplace is taking excess alcohol? There are globally validated screening tools to help us check, have a feel of how much alcohol one is taking and whether it is healthy or unhealthy. We invite you to normalize these tools at places of work. Let us start with ourselves. As CHG, with our partners, we have digitized these tools. By scanning a code in your bed, at home, in your car, you can check whether your anxiety levels are normal or you need help. Let us invite all our colleagues at places of work, in our places of worship, to embrace these tools. CHG has traveled this journey. Our 26 years have not gone in vain. Training and research is part of us. Together with AMREF International University, we have the Advanced Diploma in Applied Mental Health Practice, where we empower people from institutions who will be mental wellness champions in matters mental health. They may be clinicians or they may not be clinicians. In terms of research, we've partnered with Cambridge, we've partnered with Aga Khan Teaching and Referral Hospital to make sure that research in mental health is not left behind. So we invite you as actors in the corporate space to join us in the Tufunguke initiative. The Tufunguke initiative, to those who may not know, was launched by the former First Lady, Her Excellency Margaret Kenyatta, to allow people to access dignified, quality mental health care services devoid of stigma and discrimination. That we allow them to open up and not suffer in silence amongst us. As CHG, we are very proud that our board has continued to allow us to move these services closer to you. This is our 5th branch. And as WHO is telling us that let us make mental health and well-being a reality and channel value to it, the board of CHG has continued to do that. Director Alice is right here. Our chair is here. The other board directors are joining tomorrow. We are proud of this board that will continue to move dignified, quality mental health care services closer to you. As we continue, we invite you to remain mental health and wellness champions wherever you are. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. May I invite Dr. Rajab, our host, to take us to the next stage. Karibu sana, Dr. Rajab.
Thank you so much, our CEO, Dr. Hongo. That has been well put. I think all of us here, we respond to this call because this is a conversation we have started. So we are encouraging each other that we continue this conversation here onwards. We are going to a session where we will actually show to ourselves and to those of us joining online that despite having a diagnosis of mental illness, that there is hope, that people have been treated and are performing well in society. I welcome Gadhoni to introduce us to the arts team. There will be a music performance and a poet performance, and I hope you enjoy. Karibu Gadhoni.
Thank you, Daktari. I hope you are continuing to enjoy yourself. We are going to have La Rota. Please come and join me. La Rota has a lived diagnosis of postpartum depression as well as some trauma. And before she begins to sing, I just want her to I want for her to tell us more about herself. And yeah, why music?
Yes. I'm La Rota, Africa. My real name is Laureate Rota. I did psychology in college, in university. And I've lived with, I had postpartum depression. And I went through some trauma in my life. So I did music because music is therapeutic. Even for you guys who are here, you know that we can't just be all talk. Sometimes you have to do music or sports or an activity that will keep you at least get out of your work area. So yes, my experience wasn't easy, but music has been, it has been there for me.
Yes.
Let me just say that.
Thank you so much. And La Rota has also performed in one of our MINDFESTs before.
Yes.
It was really an honor to engage her because she's a resident of Mombasa. And check out her music online.
Yes, you can find me as La Rota. I participated in MINDFEST 2020 during the Corona period. So we did it in Mombasa, but it was aired in Nairobi. It was quite an honor. And yes, I'm really grateful to be part of this one again.
All right. La Rota will be performing for us from her collection, the song titled Rhythm of Love. And just finally, before we get into your performance, for those who are joining us and would not understand what postpartum depression is, maybe you can briefly tell us.
Postpartum depression actually comes after you have a child. Because for me, when I had it was my second child, I was in a state of denial and confusion. And sometimes, for me, I could experience numbness, where you get to a point where you can't really, as a mother, you're supposed to be nurturing and caring, but you're still not ready to be there for the child. So your levels of your emotions are exaggerated and you're all over the place. And the child is not getting what they need from you because you're not available emotionally and physically. You just want to distance yourself from the child because you feel like you need your own space. As for me, I could actually lock myself in the room for days I hated most of the things that were around me. But I knew how to deal with that at the time. because I got out of that. For me, what really helped me was my support system, because I got out of that particular environment. I had to change my environment and work with people who are ready to walk with me the journey, who really understood what I was going through. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Larota. Please join me in welcoming Larota to perform for us.
Thank you. So the song that I'm going to perform, I wrote it during the Corona period where everyone was locked up, and we needed each other digitally mostly because we couldn't access each other physically. So it's called Rhythm of Love, to check out on the people who are not okay and those who are not okay, to be there for each other basically. So yeah. My guitarist is Max. He's all the way from there. So Max. Wake up in the morning with a reason to smile, a reason to flow. Oh, forget about your groaning, find a reason to smile, and a reason to grow. Oh, wake up in the morning, find a reason of love, and a reason to flow. Forget about your groaning, find a reason to smile, and a reason to grow. This world needs a lot of healing. Never run away from those who need you. Umoja wetu ni nguvu, utengano ni udhaifu ndugu. Sambaza upendo na utu, nikianguka uninyanyue ndugu. Don't let a brother stumble. You gotta move to the rhythm. You gotta move to the rhythm. You gotta move to the rhythm of love. Wake up in the morning, find a reason to smile, a reason to grow. Oh, forget about your groaning, find a reason to smile, and a reason to flow. Wake up in the morning, find a reason of love, and a reason to flow. Forget about your groaning, find a reason to smile, and a reason to grow. We all know this is a home. That's the only way that we grow. You better tell a brother to hold on. You tell a sister to hold on. Don't let a brother stumble. You gotta move to the rhythm. You gotta move to the rhythm. You gotta move to the rhythm of love. Wake up in the morning, find a reason to smile, a reason to flow. Forget about your groaning, find a reason to smile, a reason to flow. Wake up in the morning, find a reason of love, and a reason to flow. Forget about your groaning, find a reason to smile, and a reason to flow. So I hope most of you are smiling, because I'm checking on this side and people are just so I really appreciate what you are doing for us, also as artists, because we also go through a lot mentally. And I'm actually surprised that there are now 84 psychiatrists and ongoing. So I'm really grateful for what you're doing to society right now. And thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Larota, for that. Indeed, there is so much more to an individual than their diagnosis. And I'm really happy and feel blessed to have had that beautiful, beautiful song from Larota this evening. Before I invite our next participant, allow me to welcome Dr. Osoro. Is she around? Yes. Dr. Stella Osoro is a clinical psychologist from KPLC. Karibu sana. We are honored to have you here today.
Wow, you've got me just smiling from this song. Good evening, everyone. Hi, say hi to your neighbor. It's a moment to be happy. It's a moment to be happy. It is this moment which cannot be able to repeat itself. And I want to start by saying that thank you so much for this forum, because mental illness is real. I stand here at a capacity of a clinical psychologist in charge of mental health, Kenya Power. And I want to thank the company so much, because it has created an avenue to help the employees to deal with their mental health. And that is why I'm here. And also I want to thank the Chiromo. We have really partnered with them. We are doing a very good job. And they have really helped us, because in our company we have come up with ways on how we can be able to create support systems which can be able to alleviate the mental health. So Chair, thank you so much for coming in handy and supporting, and I want to say thank you for bringing this to the coast region, because it will really help in alleviating many, many issues of mental health. Mental health is a silent disease. It is not like what you can be able to say that somebody is having malaria. You can't be able to say mental health. It is invisible. And so it is us, especially when it comes to the corporate world, to be able to be a brother's keeper, to be able to identify the signs which are making someone to be able to identify signs which can be able to tell that somebody is suffering from mental health. That is very key. And thank you so much, Chiromo, again. In our company, we have what we call employees who have special children. And actually, they have really benefited from this program, because we realized something like autistic, where our children go to school, sometimes not many schools know about it. They say maybe ni uchawi. See, that is what they say. And sometimes they don't give it what it is needed to be given. So I thank Chiromo, because this is a team which has helped our company to do sensitization. When we identify a certain school which is our employees' child is going to, and they don't understand that, this is the group which come in to do sensitization. So we thank you so much, because our work is easier working with you. We also request that, especially when it comes to workplace, putting in the management, putting in efforts to be able to deal with things like, because in workplace, what is there more is alcohol and substance abuse. You find depression, you find anxiety, all these disorders. And trust me, you cannot be able to deliver. There is no work performance if you are not okay upstairs. You cannot deliver. If we can be able to invest more on mental health, just like what Kenya Power has done, we can be able to get very good products, very good performance, and also to maintain the wellness of the people working for you. Very, very important. So I thank you, the Chiromo team, for working hand in hand. You've done our work easier. If you can be able to allow me 1 minute, I can be able to call the in charge of the HR in charge of Nairobi to just say hi. Catherine. Catherine is in charge of Nairobi, Mombasa region, Coast region, and she can just say hi, and that's it. Thank you. Catherine, just one word.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Catherine Jerry, and I work in Kenya Power HR. And Stella here has been very supportive to us because Kenya Power came to the realization that, and especially us who are in HR, that not all indiscipline cases are there because somebody is being indisciplined, but there could be other underlying issues. So Stella has been very supportive, and we are very grateful that Chiromo has come to Mombasa. And those issues, you can imagine, we've been referring them to Nairobi, which is quite an expensive thing to refer people who are having mental health issues to Nairobi. Now that you're here closer, we are sure to use your facility and work hand in hand so that our employees have a good state of their mental issues. And I heard Madam Gadoni say that they hope that, no, I think it's Daktari who said they hope when somebody brings a sick sheet for bipolar, will be treated the same way when you bring a sick sheet for malaria. I can assure you that it's already happening, all because of this department that Stella heads, that for us, we do not discriminate. Mental health is very important in Kenya Power because we offer a service that's very important to this nation. So we take it upon ourselves to give actually special attention to those people that we get from Dr. Stella telling us that they need that time and space to get well from their mental conditions. Thank you and karibuni sana, and we hope to interact more.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you so much. Let me finish by saying that when we prevent mental health, it makes work easy, it makes leadership easy, it makes wellness of the employees easy. You cannot get an employee like in our, what we give. You find like an employee going out and maybe not attending to a customer. But when the wellness is okay, then even the community is okay. Even the families are okay. So we thank you so much, and may God bless you people. May God bless Chiromo. Chair, you've done a good job. Thank you so much. Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much, Dr. Stella and Catherine. Indeed, when our well-being is okay, then everything around us is okay. And just to reiterate what Dr. Hongo said, this is the only conversation that we are looking at from top to bottom, rather than bottom up. Yeah. Imagine if the employee at the bottom comes to work and they are unwell, things can go on. But if the boss comes to work and they are not well, things will not go well that day. So thank you so much for those sentiments. The next session, we are going to have our very own Yasmin Shabin. Please join me here. Yasmin has a lived experience with PTSD, suffered sleep paralysis and depression. She's a poet and writer, but allow me to ask her to tell us more about herself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad to be here once again with Chiromo. I'm very glad, and now you're in Mombasa hosting this. Yeah, So I suffered from sleep paralysis for a very long time, and I was trying all type of medical issues. So sleep paralysis is more of like when you sleep, you feel you get attacked. You don't know why you're being attacked. It's initially the fears and the traumas that you have, and I had to go back and dig in what I had, the post traumas, the childhood traumas, and it's a journey. It's a journey that healing is not a one-day thing and all that. You always have to review back to yourself over and over again.
Thank you, Yasmin, for
Yeah.
that. Yasmin is also a graduate of tourism and hospitality.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
a psychology student.
yes, where are you taking?
I'm taking
Undertaking
psychology
that?
student online classes because after I gave birth and I wanted to do something, and I was procrastinating. Should I be doing this here? Should I be doing this here? And I just said, like, one day, let me just start on an online course and let me see how this thing is going. And right now it's helping me, and I will be able to give back to the community, God willing.
Thank you so much, Yasmin, for that. She's also been in one of our MINDFEST, and
Yeah.
what she's also not saying, allow me to say, is that she was accepted in the Harvard program. So we are happy to have you here. She's going to
Thank
be
you so
reciting
much.
2 poems. One is Children of Grief, and the other one is Infinix Love. Welcome, Yasmin.
Thank you so much. So, yeah. And a few words before I recite my poem. I want to address a word that we all use in our community and our places, a word that we are told all the time to hide ourselves. If we tend to get wrong, someone shames on us and tells us, you are now a shame in our family or our community. I want to say there's nothing like shame, because there's nothing like has ever not been done in this world. Everything has been there, it's just that we're not addressing it, right? So, like, if someone wants to drop out and be a musician, good. If someone wants to do this, that's good. There's always a starting point from somewhere. You do things for yourself. Not success is always about yourself, and no one else has to look upon you. You always have to look upon yourself and put yourself first. That's like what I've learned all over. And whatever what comes to me, I always put myself first. How is this going to take me? Because when you go down, you go down alone, especially mentally, because as we said, nobody can address it. You're the only person who can address it. And then when we address it to the community, our community does not believe it. It's like, hiyo ni ugonjwa ya wazungu hiyo. Yeah. So let me read one of my poems, Children of Grief. Grief's firstborn child is anger. She storms from room to room, each window rattling in her wake. Distractions is her middle name. She does not apologize for it. Hurricane in your chest, storms in your soul. She'll not release you until you shatter. Grief's second child is sadness. She who crawls inside your bones, stretches her envy hands till every part of yours inside the web tournament. Tragedy in your bones, decay in your veins. She will stay until she learns how for you to cut the knife off your throat. The youngest child of grief is healing. She who mends broken souls with liquor gold, each cracking glamour in sunlight. You will ask her why for your wounds, gently rain for your spirits. She will tell you, you are what you have loved, and you are what you have given, and I'll be here until you heal. Okay, my second poem is The Infinite Love, and this poem reminds me all the time to go back, and it usually reflects what you have inside, the good and the bad, the pain, the traumas, the happiness and the love. So for this poem, I will want you like all to maybe close your eyes, concentrate and breathe in. Close your eyes softly with care and love, gentle, and touch your soul as you breathe in and out slowly. I close my eyes and I feel the light of my existence inside me. Its being of creation, the fire within my soul, and every deep breath that I take. The flame inside of me grows bigger, brighter, and bolder, and within I excel. It releases anything that holds me back or that is not helping me no more. I take another deep breath. I feel the love in my heart burning brighter. It is the truth of my beauty. The sacred safe space of my soul resides. As I exhale, I let go of any kind of pain and trauma that once I held so close. I release any version of myself that has no longer aligned with and whoever I was once. I take one last breath as I step closer to my higher self. I'm feeling grounded in my skin, stronger in my being, and weightless dimension. I hear my voice of intuition. I feel my energy as I surround wholeheartedly into the wisdom of universe, allowing myself to be held and nurtured by the infinite of love. Take a deep breath and open your eyes. Thank you so much, Chiromo, for hosting us here.
Let us give Yasmin another round of applause. That was fantastic. I hope you are feeling grounded and ready to release anything that is not serving you right now. I know we are running out of time. Kindly allow me to invite HSC Susan Nyasinga, Director, Kenya Prison Services. Join me in welcoming her with a hand clap. And as director comes through, anybody who is joining us online, please welcome us, send us comments, and follow any of our social media pages. Karibu sana, Director.
Asante sana. Yes, thank you. Good evening, all of you. Okay, my name is Susan Nyasinga from the Kenya Prison Service in the Directorate of Rehabilitation and Welfare. We are based at the Kenya Prison headquarters, Nairobi, and I'm happy to be with my team from Shimo Maximum. I have Naisukwa and Njue. Can you salute? Yes. I'm happy to be part of this MINDFEST celebration. It is my first time to be in this forum, but I'm happy that Kenya Prison Service has partnered with the Chiromo Group, and for almost now 3 years, we have a number of our staff. Actually, the department has over 30,000 uniformed and civilian staff members, and we are found across the country, over 130 institutions, and we host a number of our clients. Those are the inmates who are numbering around, actually sometimes we don't say, but we say, around 54,000. And each one of them depend on the services that we give as staff members. So as a department, we can say that we are happy for what has already taken place because of this partnership. We are faced with a number of challenges, and these challenges come because of the stresses either of the environment where we work or the kind of the workload that each one of us we are faced with. And also because of, we can say, the economy out here, the stresses of family life, stresses of workplace, challenges that face each one of us out there. But somehow we cannot say we are more unique than others. It's only that we find ourselves also faced with those, when you are giving a service, you are supposed to be like a bridge, not to be a barrier to the people that depend on you. So we need to be mentally stable, mentally healthy, but somehow we find ourselves faced with the challenges of, we can say, mental breakdown, some addictions, some disciplinary issues that come about because of where we are. We cannot say we are unique in a way, but we can say we have almost a number of our staff faced with those challenges. And those challenges have led to a few of them into rehabilitation centers. But we are happy that Chiromo has been of very many assistance to us. They have taken our staff for assessment. They admit them for 2 weeks before maybe they can check into rehabilitation centers. And at the end of it, we can say that a number have gotten assisted. And our team, I can say from Chiromo itself, have also done what we can call preventive measures, promotive measures, through sensitization, and a number of those that need to be reached out have been reached, especially our staff members, because we have heard from the previous speakers that when we start from the top, then we are in a way able to manage those below us. So many of those in the leadership of the Kenya Prison Service have been reached. And we have had to do this, the sensitization, to be able to decrease the stigma that surrounds those with mental issues. Our regional commanders have been reached, officers in charge have been reached, and we have also reached many of our directors from the top, that is from the prison's headquarters. A number of them have been reached. And we can say that it's a great support that you've already given to us. And we thank you, Dr. Hongo, and your team. The chair, Dr. Frank, I know that as I was growing up, I used to hear of him. And here he is. He has done a great job. So ours is to say thank you for the work that is still going on. And we are hoping that the disciplinary measures that sometimes our leaders take on those who have those challenges, they have come to a level where they understand them. Not all cases now are brought to be in the disciplinary board. somehow we are able to interrogate it first before maybe somebody has been dismissed because of disciplinary cases. And this is because of that sensitization that has already taken place in our department. So we have reached quite a number. In 2021, our Commissioner General was able to send word so that we can be able to form committees, mental health committees in all stations, in the 134 stations. And we have a number of them. Actually, the ones who are attending with me today, they are part of that team, whereby they are supposed to be trained and take charge of all mental issues in our department. So that way we are in the process of streamlining and mainstreaming the mental health issues in our department. And together with the Directorate of Health Services, we are doing quite a lot, and a number of our staff have been reached, a number of stations have been reached. In Nairobi area, we have Langata Women, we have Nairobi West, Nairobi Remand, we have Committee, Command, whereby there is maximum, medium. We have the youth and the Bosto. We have also reached Kiambu, we have reached Kitengela, we have reached Machakos, and we are also in the process of reaching other stations out of Nairobi so that we can be able to prepare those who can be able to know how to handle mental issue challenges with our staff and their families and our clients. So ours is to thank the Chiromo Group for being with us, coming at a time like this, when the country needs to be sensitized, because we have known that without taking the mental health issues with the seriousness that it demands, we are not going to do much. Like the KBLC that I talked earlier on, we are also in the process of developing the policy, mental health policy, so that we can be able to know when we have a case of mental issue, how should we handle it? And our disciplinary measures, how should they be handled when we have challenges of our staff who needs to be understood, and to dig deeper to know in which way that those cases should be handled. So for us, it is a plus that we have partnered with you, and we are hoping that much will be achieved at the end of it, because you know that we have a number of our staff members, our families, our clients. Without those skills, we will not be able to assist them in any way. So to each one of us, let us hold hands together for both preventive, promotive, and protective of our mental health in our country, Kenya. So thank you very much, and we are happy to be part of this team to reach out, because mental health is for each one of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Susan Nyasinga from Kenya Prison Service, for those wonderful remarks. I take this opportunity to briefly invite the representatives from our partners in the insurance sector, led by Madam Joy Kihuha, who will briefly speak on their behalf. Kindly, Madam Joy and our representatives from the insurance side, welcome.
The chief guest, Chairman Chiromo Health Group, Professor Lukoe, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. This is, I think, just a bit of the representatives of the insurance companies. I think I'll give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves and say where they're from.
Thank you, Joy. The chief guest and all the invited guests, good evening. This is Margaret Karanja representing Old Mutual. I must say, Chiromo, we are glad you're here. We were looking forward to when you would come, and you just came at the right time. And all knowing that Mombasa is hit with mental illness and drug addiction, we are welcoming you and thank you. We look forward to partnering with you. Thank you.
The chief guest and everyone who has visited, good evening. This is Faith Nyambura. I'm the care manager for Jubilee Insurance. I represent the Coast region. We are happy that you are here. We were struggling on where to admit our mental cases. Actually, we had to admit in the hospitals and pay for the guard. So we are happy you are here. You've come in to fill in a gap that was there. Welcome.
To the chief guests and all invited, good evening. Yeah, my name is Anthony Karanja from AR Insurance Group, the care manager, Coast Region. So mine is to say Karibu Chiromolen, and thank you for spreading the gospel of mental wellness to Mombasa and the entire region. Welcome, and we look forward to work together. Thank you.
Good evening, team. My name is Sarah, representing First Assurance together with my colleague. I don't know whether he's around. His name is Evans. Chiromo, you're welcome to Mombasa. We are happy to finally see Chiromo in Mombasa. Actually, I can't say much. Maybe the environment will let you know how Mombasa is in regards to mental health. There are challenges, but I know you being here, everything is going to be good for Mombasa. Karibuni.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Ruth from AP Insurance. Thank you, Chilomo, for inviting us here. And welcome to Mombasa. We have several cases, especially drug addicts. So you're in the right place. Thank you.
So if I could just say one or two things. One of the things we've been accused of in Mombasa is being the drug abuse hub, which is not a very good term for our city. So, Karibuni Chiromo. One of the things we are telling you about Mombasa is that Mombasa looks like how it is in this compound. That's our story, and we are sticking to it. We have for a while suffered in terms of the clients that we need to have serious and intense mental health intervention. We are pleased to say that when insurance first started, we had a lot of exclusions because we didn't know what was out there. But as time goes, we are allocating more and more to mental health. We are also considering things that would otherwise be exclusions now as inclusions within the cover, within the various companies. And as time goes, we are getting better and better. So we hope to partner with you here. The other thing we hope to really partner with is on the issues of mental health. Mental health education, I mean. One of the things that really came out during COVID was people kept saying we need to learn more about our mental health. It really brought out a lot, and a lot of the requests we are getting right now is stress management. How do I manage my health mentally? How do I stay upbeat? So Dr. Rajab, I think it was, we hope that you can partner with us to teach the corporates who are our clients. We'll call on you a lot because we also need a professional. When they hear from a professional, it sinks better than from any other person. So we have a lot going on in Mombasa. I'm glad to also see that KPA is having its conference. So we really hope that some of the psychiatrists can choose to come and practice in Mombasa. Mombasa is nice. So please do come and practice here. As I said, Mombasa looks like this compound, and that's our story, and we are sticking to it. So please feel free to come to Mombasa. It's a nice place, and we do our best to support Chiromo as insurance companies. And we also hope that you can support us, especially on the education part, as well as you give the curative part. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Joy, and our representatives from the insurance sector. We are always in partnership, and we are happy about it. For our viewers on the online platform, we are going to take a commercial break. We will be back shortly, and I'm sure you will be entertained by some artistic piece on that side. For those of us here, I have attended weddings where we've been requested to actually leave our phones in our cars. This next session is not a wedding, but it's a session that I would request we don't record. I just want to show to you the journey of a lovely mind, a lovely person who has accepted graciously to share his experiences with us. Welcome, Kalim. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Introduce yourself.
Thank you, Moesh. My name is Kalim Adamji. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm very happy to be here surrounded by like-minded people. And I think I'm in safe hands surrounded by all the psychiatrists.
to draw and to make worlds within myself. So that has been Joseph Chege for you. Thank you so much. Hello, my name is Joseph Chege, also known as Nabster. I'm an artist based off in Lamu, Kenya, and I primarily take images, draw, and make sculptures. The reason why I draw is that it's an investigation into my own self. It's a journey that I take into myself to question my ego, to question my relationship with the world, to question the reason why I'm in this in the first place, and to be able to have a mirror of myself with my emotions and express exactly how I feel in a raw and free way. I think drawing presents a certain freedom. The way you hold your breath as you draw a straight line becomes a meditative practice, a breathing exercise, and a way for me to question the world and to investigate myself a bit further. This body of work that I have created is called Metamorphosis, and it details a journey in my mental health since I was admitted last year at Chiromo Lane Bustani for depression and suicide. And this has also become a way for me to record my events during this time, to question what I was feeling, to be able to document it in a way so that I may never forget where I'm from, because that gives me the strength to endure whatever is coming forward. It has not been easy, but I'm grateful that there have been, my therapists have been there, there's been doctors who have been able to help me through the journey, and the love of family and friends that have renewed me, and my zeal for life has come alive, as well as my zeal for making through this process. So I drew this body of work, and there's a transition in it where They are quite dark images that I drew beginning of 2020 before my admission. And even as I continue to recover, I continue documenting this almost on a daily. And it has allowed me to document my recovery. You'll notice the images move from almost dark to light. And this has been a testament to my own very life. This work has been healing. This work has been the clutches that I have held on to when times were dark. This work has been a therapy for me, and it has promoted mindfulness. It has promoted, a freedom and surrender in my work, and I'm eternally grateful for the gift to draw and to make worlds within myself. So that has been Joseph Chege for you. Thank you so much. Hello, my name is Joseph Chege, also known as Nabster. I'm an artist based off
the lived experience champions for mental health. Asanteni sana, the corporates that we work with, we really appreciate. We continue to recognize the presence of those who are here today. You are real mental health and wellness champions. We have come to the end of today. Our online viewers, asanteni sana for that commercial break. We are back with you. As we conclude this program, allow me to recognize the presence of KPA leadership. Mr. Gutu is just making the final turn. But as we wait for Mr. Gutu, allow me to invite our chair, Dr. Frank Njenga, who will then recognize the presence of our other partners. Chair, to note is that we have the KRA HRM, Madam Monica Ogello. Allow me to invite Madam Monica Ogello to come and make her remarks before we invite the chair. Karibu sana, Madam Monica. Madam Monica. Karibu. Let's clap for Madam Monica as she comes, please. Let's clap for Madam Monica. I know we have shocked you. Karibu sana, Madam.
Good evening, everyone. It is a great pleasure to be here this evening, and we are happy to be here with the Chiromo Group of Hospital, and we'd like to appreciate them for having considered mental wellness as we look at our staff in general, especially in Mombasa. With a few remarks, I wish to welcome the facility in Mombasa. Karibuni sana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. KRA practices mental health and wellness. We are here with the young psychiatrists. Tafadhali, the young psychiatrists, kindly raise up your hands. My colleagues, those who are steering the mental health and wellness globally, they are holding their conference here. They have representation from East Africa. Dr. David Wairoto is around, our medical director, Dr. Wairoto. I'll invite one of the young psychiatrists to come and talk on behalf of all the young psychiatrists who are gathered here today. Dr. Priscilla Macau. Doc, nakuona pale kwa kona, even as this light as bright as it is, I can see you beyond this bright light. Karibu sana. Let's clap for Dr. Priscilla. Thank you, Presidente, for saving me. I can see you.
Oh my God. So, the advantage of being short. Anyway, so good evening, everyone. Asanteni sana kwa kuja. Mombasa is my home, so I am really, really happy that Chiromo has actually opened up a branch here. I think it's general knowledge that any center, any town
needs to have a place where you can take our patients and our relatives and us guys so that you can seek care, right? The same way we have hospitals for every other disease, it's good to have a facility where we can get care for our mental illnesses and our mental health. So karibuni sana Mombasa, and I'm sure we are going to have a good journey as we all work together towards mental health and well-being in the coastal region. Thank you so much.
Asante sana, tumpigie Dr. Makao makofi. Afande, sioni kama unapiga makofi. Afande, piga makofi vizuri. Nitakuomba uje hapa mbele usalute. We want to recognize the presence of the chairman of IHRM Coastal Region, Mr. Boyd. He was amongst the first guests to come. Mr. Boyd, please. We recognize the partnership with IHRM. We are all employed. I'm an employee. Tunashukuru sana. Karibu sana, Mr. Boyd.
The chief guests and all the guests, God is good and all the time. Okay, well, I think we just to appreciate the partnership that we have with Chiromo. And when just recently we had HR month in July, and we organized an online program where we had more than 300 participants, and it was great. Furthermore, I think it is good that we continue having this conversation together. All the HR professionals who are here and wherever they are, I think it's good that now we start looking on how we can engage our employees in this partnership with Chiromo Hospital Group. And I think that is the most important thing that we have. And then, furthermore, is to, we were having a discussion probably when I came in, and where I come from, we are not allowed as men to cry. I don't know uko kwenu, lakini kwetu we are not allowed to cry. Now imagine a scenario whereby I have an issue. I cannot cry. I cannot tell anybody my issue. So if that case come in, most of the cases that we find, that is why men are put aside. We keep on our own issues. Just imagine a man again crying in front of his or of a wife. It is a rare occasion. It is as if it's not allowed because of where we are brought in. Now, take that scenario to our workplace. So that is why you find men wamekaa ngumu, anafadhali aende akunywe pombe, kesha arudi. How do we deal with that? I think it's a conversation that we have to continue together. And thank you very much, Chiromo, for this partnership. All is well, and thank you.
Asante sana. Tumpigie Mr. Boyd makofi. Thank you very much. Tumpigie Mr. Boyd makofi tena. Asante sana. Allow me to invite our chairman, Dr. Frank Jenga, who will then take over from here. Karibu sana, chairman.
If I was you, I'd have walked out of here already because you must be so tired. For that reason, I will ask our president to speak on behalf of all the psychiatrists. If it's okay, you can thank the Chiromo people. If you don't think they're doing anything right, don't thank them. And then I will ask Dr. Hongo to introduce our chief guests. All right? This is President Chitai, the president of all the psychiatrists in Kenya. Karibu.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to adopt the elaborate protocol that was early established by the CEO, Dr. Hongo, with all necessary adjustments. Good evening. It's our pleasure as the Kenya Psychiatric Association to be in this coastal town of coastal city really of Mombasa and at Chiromo Hospital Group. As you are aware, Mr. Chairman, we are in this town for the purpose of our annual scientific conference, which is under the theme of building the nation, a focus on youth mental health, which we believe that it is a timely discussion in our country. When Dr. Hongo was speaking earlier, one cannot help but appreciate the grim statistics around mental health in our country, and I want to believe, and we know, that it's not just our country, but around the world, the statistics are often very grim. High figures, high prevalences of mental illness, coupled with difficulties in access to mental health care. That seems always to be the story about mental health. However, Mr. Chair, I also want to direct our minds towards some hope, especially given what we've seen in our country over the past, one can say 10, give or take, years. We have certain advantages, and sometimes I came to appreciate this when I made some comparisons by meeting friends from outside Kenya, where I realized that actually there are countries on our continent that do not have a mental health policy. Kenya has a mental health policy. It's a step in the right direction. There are countries that do not have any legislation around mental health. Ourselves, we just amended our, I believe it's not second, it may be fourth, legislation around mental health. There were two earlier legislations before the Mental Health Act of 1989, and then the latest Mental Health Amendment Act of 2020, which was signed into law 2022. So we have a law. In Kenya, we also have other very progressive documents, such as the task force report that documents the chronic challenges that are affecting our mental health and makes robust discussions. And since that document came out, it has energized efforts to advocate for mental health. Everyone talks about the mental health report recommended. It's very nice when you are talking to government and you are telling government that implement what you already recommended in this report that you commissioned and pay for. So we are very happy that we have this mental task force report of 2021. And then you come to we have an action plan, obviously, to implement the policy. And then we have I love the mental health investment case. The mental health investment case. Kenya is the first country I know of that has that I am sure in Africa it's the first. In the world, it may be the top ones, maybe among the top 5, that has such an investment report. For the first time, we now know the actual cost of mental illness in our country. It's beautiful to know. For the longest time, people thought that thank you. For the longest time, people thought that there's no cost to mental illness. After all, mental illness ni kuvumilia, kidogo unapona, But that report captures the actual cost of mental illness, talking about absenteeism, people missing to come to work, presenteeism, and early death due to mental illness, and documents how a person with mental illness will lose nearly 10 years of their productive life because of early death. And then goes ahead and puts it into money, shillings. Our minds, by the way, it has been found that our minds are not very good with percentages. So if I come today and tell you that only 1% of Kenyan hospitals have mental health services, you don't understand it. It's not the way we were created. But when you see numbers, what do you mean by this 1%? What is the number? What does it mean? Then we begin to appreciate. So when you put it into shillings, And the investment case report says that we lose 56.6 billion shillings annually. We lose 56.6 billion shillings annually due to untreated mental illness. And then we say that we can actually save money. You know, we can actually save close to 200 billion if we were to invest in mental health. Then we start to make sense. We are very fortunate that a lot of these good experiments that that people are trying and good ideas, I wouldn't say experiment, people take experiments negatively, especially ourselves, but good ideas, even from the international level, such as the investment in mental health case by the UNDP, among other partners, was done in Kenya. And now we can, you know, go to the government and tell them that if you invest in mental health over the next 10 years, we are going to save 5,000 lives. 5,000 lives, you know, of people. Kenyans will be productive and working. So I am very happy, and there is hope. There's a lot of hope, you know, when I look at the direction of mental health in this country. I'm also extremely happy to hear that now our parastatals, they seem to now have some form of mental health planning, some mental health leadership, that there is someone in charge, like Stella was here. She's in charge of mental health in KPLC, something that was totally unheard of. And this is great progress, and I hear the same about prisons, and I know that Chiromolen has been doing a lot of work with the police, and I know that there is some work that's going on in schools. I've seen that you know, some of these presentations are going to be made in our KPA conference this year from tomorrow. So we are in many ways on track. However, I want to say that we still have an opportunity. And where do I see an opportunity? The fact that we just had an election. We just had an election. And now we have new leaders in place from the top down to MCS, from president down to MCS. We now have new leaders. And so these new leaders, the problem is that they are not aware. Most of them may not be aware of the work that already has gone on over the past. So we had already made some steps. So what is our role? We, as Kenya Psychiatric Association, and together with Chiromo Hospital Group, and inviting every volunteer who would advocate in their own capacity to take initiative around this new leadership. And especially now, before they forget the promises that they made, and before ourselves, we also forget these promises and move on, let us start initiatives around talking to them about this good work that has already gone on, because we don't want to go to waste. So my commitment as the Kenya Psychiatric Association is that we are committed to continue doing this work with strong partners like the Chiromo Hospital Group, because we are tied at the hip, you know, ourselves and Chiromo Hospital Group, because of history, because of objectives, and because of our aspirations for the future. And we want to promise you of our steadfast and continuous cooperation and partnership. So we celebrate with you this milestone of opening this hospital, and you can count on us. And we also thank you, the hospital, for supporting our conference this year. I almost forgot, and you will have lynched me, for the sponsorship of the many of our young psychiatrists from both Kenya and from Uganda and Tanzania who are here in Mombasa. And lastly, just lastly, ya mwisho kabisa, we learned something from Uganda when their members of parliament came to Kenya about 3 months ago. We learned something, and we, by the way, we met them at Chiromo. So we learned something, that their parliament has a parliamentary group for mental health, consisting of MPs. So that is perhaps something that we can work together to create in Kenya, and we can learn from them and create that as another avenue for advocating for mental health. Otherwise, I thank you and wish you a great evening.
Asante sana, Chair. He usually surprises me. That's a good surprise. Let's clap for Presidente of Kenya Psychiatric Association. Dan, you are not clapping. Please clap for the President. DJ, we need to jump as we celebrate the World Mental Health Day. Let's stand, those who are sitting. Dr. Stella, please let us be upstanding. Dr. Neil, this is where we teach you how we dance. DJ, ramp it up, bada ijatosha. Asante sana DJ, asante. Today, as we celebrate the World Mental Health Day, the World Health Organization has stated that mental health and well-being should become a global priority. KPA exemplifies that. We are honored to have our chief guest, Mr. Daniel Ogutu, who is serving as the General Manager of Kenya Ports Authority. Previously, he served in many roles in the human resource management. He served as the Vice Chairperson of SRC, the Salaries and Review Commission. He's also served the HR role at the University Council. He's a prominent HR practitioner. He leads a team of thousands and thousands of Kenyans who manage the port of entry into East Africa. Allow me to invite Mr. Daniel Ogutu, our chief guest, to make his remarks as we celebrate the World Mental Health Day. Let's clap for Mr. Daniel Ogutu.
Guest present, Dr. Jenga. You know, when I see you, I see my youth. But it doesn't age. It's the same day. I was young, he was looking the same. I'm almost his age now, he's looking the same. Probably share with us the secret. Other guests present, Dr. Hongo and the rest of the team. First, I want to apologize for the late coming. It wasn't intentional. I was really so set to be here before everyone. But I work in an environment that works 24 hours. As I was just about to leave at 3 o'clock, I saw the team of the union leadership, the dock workers union, at the door. Then I said, they are spoiling my day. Because the unions are never good friends always. You'll always see them when there's trouble. But today they were not coming for trouble. Good luck. So we had a discussion. Lucky enough or unlucky enough, these guys were also being followed by a group of managers from operations because they were just planning for their evening operations work. So they took a bit of my time, and that should not be an excuse. It's part of work. I promised myself to come. I kept asking Dr. Hongo, do I fail to come? Because coming late is bad manners. So he encouraged me, please make an appearance. I believe that making an appearance will absolve me from making a speech, because I would simply hide behind there and say, happy birthday, Chiromo Hospital Group. Welcome to the new facility in Mombasa. Probably a glass of juice, then I disappear. But it still works out that I was designated to make a speech. I'm seeing Professor. I've had forums with the Professor, so I'm quite delighted to see you. I will not make a long speech. In many instances, when you get the honor to give the last talk, you get lost. What else would you say that has not been said? But I want to start this way. As a young man, had just married. Fortunately, I got a baby girl. We were working elsewhere away from home, and we took time to go visit our parents. We still had our grass-thatched sibur. For those who know the language, you can translate. The small hut somewhere in the home where the young men would live to spend their night and probably get their young girls to move in with. But this one was not a young girl anymore, it was a wife and a child. So I'd left just to go a short distance away. A guy called Ogude, who was known to us as somebody who was mentally, slightly mentally derailed. But he was harmless, he was quite harmless. My wife didn't know this guy. So this guy walks into the house and simply sits and doesn't talk. He doesn't touch anything, he doesn't talk. The lady gets scared and say, really? This is a murderer. Why can't he talk? It's courteous to say good morning. So she slowly picks the child and walks out, assuming that this man is not seeing her. As she steps out of the door, the guy also steps out with him. She very quickly runs to my mother's house. The guy follows. Now, fortunately, my mother was there, and the gentleman sees my mother and extends a serious handshake, then sits and keeps quiet. At the end of that event, things looked normal. What was the conclusion? This is a madman. Are you getting the joke? The joke is that mental health was an ordinary thing. Nobody cared. To us, he was a madman. To everybody in the village, he was a madman. Did anybody care? That's about 30 years ago. Today, the story is different. Anybody who could be having a sign of mental health is a worry to us, whether at home, in the village, or at workplace, or still at workplace, because many of us spend a lot of our time at workplace. We interact more with our colleagues at workplace, and we can't simply say, Ogutu is a madman. What is the consequence of that? Mental health has been quite compounded with a lot of environmental issues. Availability of hard drugs, abuse of other consumables, and people have now become violent. Our madman at home was not violent. Today, some are very violent. People kill each other, even their close set of relatives, wives and children. We have seen such happening around us. So it's a matter that we take seriously. So without talking a lot, probably some little statistic. I know Dr. Honga shared this. But it's always not so wrong to repeat time and again. Keep telling them so that they can get to know. I want to say, I know Dr. Nyenga said this time and again, but I'll repeat after him. The World Health Organization report says that 1 in every 4 people around us is likely to have a mental illness or probably has mental illness. So suppose we do the count. Will it fall on you? So if we do the count here, I'll be number 1, so it will not fall on me. But if I go this way, it will fall on him. If I go this way, it will fall on. Is that reliable statistics? The experts will tell us. But the truth is, for every 1 in 4, we have a danger zone. In Kenya, mental illness is rising to an epidemic proportions. And this has been said before me, that we're talking about at least 40% of inpatient and 25% of individuals accessing care for outpatient are reported with undiagnosed mental health issues. The key word here is undiagnosed. And we are talking about the Mental Health Task Force report, which was spearheaded by our senior here. That worries us. If you're talking about 40%, 60%, 25%, then the calculation of 1 in every 4 becomes an answer. So we don't even need to do much research. It becomes an automatic answer. Like I gave the example of our friend who walked in at home. He was simply stigmatized as a mad person and probably discriminated, because the example of my wife was discrimination. He didn't care probably that this guy could talk. She could talk to him, sorry. But she ran away from this gentleman. That was discrimination. It's worse today because much of mental health is exhibiting itself in a manner that is not desirable to many of us. So this open discrimination that we see from time to time with people suffering from mental health disorders. We have a mindset which fixates itself that anybody with mental health is an outcast in the society. But at workplace, what do? We have them. Without saying much, I want to take this opportunity to join all of us in marking mental health and well-being for all a global priority on this particular day. And we also want to congratulate Chiromo Hospital Group for organizing this function, and particularly the fresh facility in Nyali. It's delighting that when matters of mental health came on focus, we only knew Chiromolen. I remember last time I met you, I was telling you how I came into contact with Chiromolen. As a manager in Harambee House, Office of the President, I had guys who were deep alcoholics, and they would never go to their homes. If they would go, they would not listen to anybody. But I had the blessing that they would listen to me. So each time they would go down, I would be called upon to take them to hospital. And the only known hospital was Chiromolen Clinic. And many of them, I would drive them there. And I would be told, don't worry, just drive them there. Don't ask about money. That is how the extent of the family care went to. It was not about money, it's the well-being of one of us. If the hospital can get him back to life, we are ready to pay a premium for it. And that's how I came into contact with Chiromolen, Asumbi, and many others that came in. So this discussion is not very new. It's something that I've personally experienced. But I would want to join the wider society that the question of employee and mental health is something that is now really grievous. Our statistics at the Kenya Ports Authority can be worrying. Remember, Kenya Ports Authority is an entry point. It's an international border. We come into contact with everybody in the world. A lot of our staff has come into contact with hard drugs, cocaine, and they actually take it. We have others who are completely derailed. Entirely, mental health is not about drugs only. It's about the entirety of our environment. Stress. One of the things that manifests itself at workplace is financial management. In normal working language, we call it financial embarrassment. It's no longer embarrassment. It's financial mismanagement. Where I work, on average, we pay well, but we have the most broke people. So they keep struggling to make ends meet. In the process, people break down. How do we recover from that? The world is an open system today where everybody can access what they want. If it is money that you want and you have a pay slip, the banks will lend you money. The insurance will promise you hope that in case of demise, we'll take care of your life. How will you take care of my life when I'm gone? So that promise does not come for free. It comes from your money. The cooperatives are here telling you, gentlemen, don't struggle. We are here. FOSA, front office services, top up. We have opened the borrowing up to 120 months. Don't worry. Every day we are sinking into deep debt. But that has not changed much. The easier way that has sunk many, particularly employees, is the mobile borrowing. It looks like it is so easy to borrow 1,000 shillings, 500 shillings, but it keeps on multiplying. Fuliza. Let's not look beyond for bigger things. The statistics from Kenya government was saying how many millions have been listed for borrowing. And they are not borrowing from the banks. Branch, Fuliza, those small borrowing. And you know how they borrow? They borrow from Fuliza to Plug, Branch. From Branch to the other one and the next. And we are talking about employees who should be productive. My other aspect that is pushing many people to mental health is gambling. It has become normal. Your morning radio is a gambling point. Buy this ticket for 100 bob, today you are the winner. The sports gambling, whereby every other child is not going to school today because they think they can be gamblers. Employees are worse, particularly using the digital platform. So from the perspective of employment and mental health, it is really worrying and a matter that needs to be handled with urgency. I want to conclude, sorry, I had my notes. I want to conclude by saying this. Globally, mental health is a thing to worry us, particularly the current time of global depression, economic depression. We have the civil strife, which is actually affecting the entire globe. We have just come from COVID effect, which wiped out almost all the savings for everybody. Then the stress level has really gone up. In the family setup in Kenya today, if you mention about schooling, it has become a joke because the term formula was lost. Parents must pay almost every other week school fees. Either the school is opening or closing. So everybody is stressed. And out of that, we have severe mental health issues to deal with. I want to say this. Corporates have made a stride and decided to be part and parcel of regrowth of the human dignity. Where I work at Kenya Ports Authority, this was an area of priority. We have a group of counselors. This is an area that has really been strengthened both from a medical perspective and from a social perspective. From the welfare office, we approach it from a social perspective. From a medical clinic, we approach it as a medical issue. But we're also approaching it as a freelancer matter, whereby people in their own arrangement can sit and discuss mental health. So we have volunteer counselors who have taken it as a priority matter to talk with their colleagues out of this problem. So we give it some seriousness that it deserves, and we still look forward to move ahead. I want to say that Chiromo Hospital Group has graciously agreed to partner with us and we are willing to walk along. This is the second time we are coming, the third interaction we are having. The first we had in our office with Dr. Hong and the team. The next we had at Watamu, where we met the top management of Kenya Ports Authority. And the meeting at Watamu has actually opened the scope and people's mind at workplace at Kenya Ports Authority about mental health issues. People thought that anybody who has a mental health problem is the one who either walks naked or talks to himself. No, even the ones that look very sober and is quiet. I had somebody explain that. I want to say that we must put it together. And today we invite others to join us in congratulating Chiromo Hospital Group for this facility, and also extending an olive hand to work with many of us in this particular exercise. I wish to say that let's make mental health discussion an open discussion as we walk around, as we travel. One time I met an Ethiopian, and he was very interested, and he asked me, "You Kenyans, you have a problem." I said, "Why?" He said, "You can't even greet each other in a bus. You walk into a bus, everybody sits and keeps quiet." And he observed one time how the bus was getting full and each person was engrossed in their own thoughts. As the journey started and went on, nobody talked to each other or with each other. Is that true? Is that the Kenyan character? We get to board a flight for that matter. Do you ever talk to your neighbor? One time I made an attempt and somebody looked at me, "Don't disturb me." So I'm basically saying, let us make ourselves friendly to each other. As a country, we need to converse with ourselves. Is it right that even when we meet as strangers, we can't shake hands? That is a recipe for a mental health disaster, because we are so engrossed and enclosed into ourselves. Can we make mental health wellness checkups a priority? The other day, I was going through the internet. The World Health Organization has posted a self-assessment form. Can you try and check yourself again? So you go through the quiz and it gives you a score. Can we try that from time to time? I almost started it yesterday, but I was a little shy. Will I be found to be mad? Then I said, let me postpone it until I'm ready. But I don't want you to postpone it, because I will not postpone it anymore. I'm also asking ourselves that let's train champions, particularly at workplace, so that we can recover the affected people. Apart from the affected people, there are also the infected people. Where there's an infected people, there's always the affected person. So in a nutshell, I want to say, let us join the global initiative to Funguke and create safe spaces within the work environment devoid of stigma and discrimination. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have finally come to the end. Join me in clapping for Mr. Daniel Ogutu, the GM HRM KPA. Asante sana, and you remain a mental health and wellness champion. We witnessed it when we went to KPA. Allow me to invite our host, Dr. Rajab, to give us a closing remarks. Karibu sana, Daktari.
Good evening. As we started, so we must finish with me at the podium. Thank you, Mr. Ogutu, for the wonderful remarks. This is the second time I'm interacting with you, the first one being with Mzee in Watamu, and my third will come at your office, I'm sure. As we finish, there's a whole list of people that I would mention that have made this day possible, but we've been standing and we are tired and no one will listen to me. True? So I will finish with one. Everybody has been quoting the WHO initiatives. Recently, there's a document they have released about mental health at the workplace, over and above the document that promotes mental wellness globally. And the paragraph I want to read is just as the document starts. Working people, like all people, deserve an inherent right to the highest attainable standard of mental health at work, regardless of their type of employment. That's the first statement. And people living with mental health conditions, whom we call the lived-in experience, have a right to access, participate, and thrive in work. Governments and employers have a responsibility to uphold that right by providing work that simultaneously prevents workers from experiencing excessive stress and mental health risks, protects and promotes workers' mental health and well-being, and supports people to fully and effectively participate in the workforce, free of stigma, discrimination, and abuse. Towards the end of that page, they recommend in all countries and across all sectors, the wealth of enterprises and societies depends on the mental health of the workers. That is my remark. That is the business we've been doing this afternoon. That is the message I hope we carry as we go to Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, since we are now an East African community here this evening. I thank you all for gracing this occasion. I thank you all for being attentive till now. I know it has been demanding, and I'm really humbled that you actually accepted the invitation to be here. By whichever superior being you believe in, may you be blessed as we go. For those who haven't been inside to see the facility, kindly take some time and I'll come walk with you as you look